Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. I hope everybody had a fantastic Thanksgiving. I hope you guys got to spend a lot of time with your friends and your families and got to eat a whole bunch of food, and then just kind of celebrating the fact that we are just thankful for just everything that we have in our lives, no matter how big or small. So I hope you guys had a fantastic holiday. And speaking of being thankful, I'm thankful for Halo Infinite. I really am. As a matter of fact, I'm so thankful for Halo Infinite that I have not touched Call of Duty since Halo Infinite came out. The multiplayer, at least, right? So I've already put in 24 plus hours into the game, and it's fantastic. But with all that being said, it does not mean that this game is completely sinless and that it is the best thing since sliced bread. Certainly not. Now, does it have the potential to be as time goes on, and what this game could be capable of as the seasons, in terms of every release of the seasons that they're going to have and everything like that, and probably the battle royale that is going to be released in the future, and everything else that they could implement into the game? Abso-fucking-lutely, especially with everybody already saying how good the campaign is. For the people that have had early access to the campaign, everybody's just raving about the campaign, and it's the largest in Halo history, as well as probably the best, and giving vibes of the original Combat Evolved. But anyway, we're simply talking about the multiplayer. This multiplayer is certainly not sinless, and it is committing some very large sins that I'm going to get into in this video, and this is going to be a little bit longer of a video than usual, so let's get right into it without wasting any more time. So the first thing right off the bat is that skill-based matchmaking exists in this game in social playlists. Obviously it's in ranked, but in social, also known as pubs, it is there as well, and lobbies dismantle and disband after every single match. It simply does not belong in the game. The Master Chief Collection, which I'm going to be referencing a lot and comparing a lot in this game with Halo Infinite as well, the Master Chief Collection, okay, does not have skill-based matchmaking unless you're playing ranked or competitive or whatever you want to call it, right? So, and that game has a much smaller player count than Halo Infinite does. Steam alone basically says that there's over 270,000 plus players that have downloaded this game since its release, okay? So if you want to be better, if you truly want to compete against Call of Duty, you could take a few small aspects of Call of Duty, of what makes it great, and you can put that into your game without taking out the foundation of what is Halo, right? Don't piss off the Halo fans, right? And not implement the things that are killing Call of Duty, such as skill-based matchmaking. Even with a game like Vanguard, if skill-based matchmaking did not exist in Vanguard, and we went back to the Black Ops 4 days and before then, a lot more people would be having a hell of a lot more fun with the game. Seriously. And on top of that, it would have been more popular, because every single content creator out there and their mother would have basically been saying, skill-based matchmaking is not in this game, and this game is a hell of a lot more fun to play. It's got its issues, but man, is it fun to play, because skill-based matchmaking, engagement optimization matchmaking does not exist, and we're back in the Black Ops 4 days, boys. So skill-based matchmaking needs to go. Seriously. The next thing on my list here is that there's no filter for game modes. Again, Master Chief Collection's filter is absolutely amazing. You could choose pretty much anything over anything. The options are absolutely incredible. And for those of you guys that have played that game, you know exactly what I mean. But you could play a Rumble Pit, you could play 8v8, 4v4, 12v12, you could play non-objective-based game modes, objective-based game modes, big team battle with one specific game mode if you want to play that. It's all there. All that kind of support is there. And yet, we're getting more bones than bare over here with with Halo Infinite, really. There's only like 2 or 3 different options that we have. So that is a big problem, especially since, again, the player count is so huge. And another thing, and this is one of the biggest sins on my list over here, is that there's no Slayer dedicated playlist. Like, are you serious? Every single first-person shooter out there since the implementation of first-person shooters has a Team Deathmatch dedicated playlist. Team Deathmatch is the most popular game mode in first-person shooter history. I don't care what your opinion is or who you are or what you prefer to play, but you can't you can't really go against that. It's a historic fact. So the fact that you don't even have the option to just to have a Slayer dedicated playlist in a first-person shooter, and that, mind you, always had a Slayer dedicated playlist in previous games and to not have it in this one, is a huge problem, and I hope they fix that soon, and I do mean soon. Next, theater mode does not work properly. It's actually kind of like a cut and paste from Halo 5. So I don't have too much experience with theater mode with Halo 5, but from the limited experience I do see a lot of similarities, and I guess they just cut and paste that, so that's a shame because there's a few things that Halo 5 did that were great, don't get me wrong, but at the same time there's a few things that a lot of fans thought that wasn't so great. So the fact that theater mode wasn't really improved all that much is actually a problem. I know that you have other things in the game that are more important, but if you're going to release a sequel 6 years later from the previous game, you expect this aspect of the game, which is obviously important, or otherwise it wouldn't be implemented in the first place, to be improved from the previous game, and apparently it wasn't. So moving on to the next one, no free-for-all and other beloved casual modes such as Griffball are in the game. Like, there's other beloved modes like Griffball that is like a cult at this point. Griffball is one of the ultimate casual modes, and it's not in here. Free-for-all, obviously, for the people that just want to play solo 100% and just have a one-man, basically every man for themselves type of game mode is not in this. Is a big shame. Now, granted, I think this is going to change, and I think it's going to be rotated, which is not really good, which is another thing that they did with Halo 5 that I don't really appreciate. It's like, dude, you've got the player count and the free-to-play aspect to support it, so why not implement everything and then some? Or are you gonna rotate it, or are you just gonna like slowly give us different game modes? I specifically hope it's giving us slowly but surely different game modes and not taking anything away. Again, Call of Duty does this as well. There's a whole bunch of game modes over the last few years that people have wanted to remain, but yet they got rotated out for something else. That pissed a lot of fans off. So again, not something that Halo should be following, not in this way. All right, moving on. Battle Pass system progression, as well as the shops as well. And I'm going to put a few screenshots here of the shop. I never really shopped anything in terms of microtransactions or anything like that in any game, so to speak. So I don't know if this is, apparently a lot of fans are saying that this is way too steep in terms of pricing. So as you'll see in the screenshots over here on the screen that these are the prices. Is this too steep? Is it a ripoff? I know it's cosmetic only and stuff like that, but let me know if it's a ripoff or not, or what you guys think of it. Do they need to, do they need to go a little bit lower, or do you think they're spot on? What do you think? Because from what I've been hearing, there's a bunch of players that are saying it's way too steep, so or just too steep. So I mean, again, the game is free to play. It's cosmetic. I personally don't care, whatever it is. So, but you guys can let me know in terms of what you think. So I thought I'd mention it in here because it is big enough to where it is making waves. But again, the game is free to play, so my personal opinion is whatever. I'm not going to buy anything. And I really don't like the fact that there's certain things you can't get. You can't grind for certain things. But again, it is a business, so again, there's, both sides have their say, but it is what it is. The game ultimately at the end is free to play, so I'm not going to bitch about it. So moving on to the next one, there's no quote-unquote newer modes like that have never been implemented in Halo before that should be implemented. Like, for instance, there's other games that have done this as well, but like, can you imagine if there was like a kill confirmed type of game mode for this game or something else? I think that would personally be fun, and I think a lot of players would actually play the objective. I think a lot of players would enjoy it. And I think one of the reasons, again, and this also has to be implemented with a Slayer-only dedicated playlist, because for the people that do like to play the OBJ, they have another option to go there. I mean, again, you can't just limit yourself to the game modes that Halo's always had. You need to go beyond and try to basically, I mean, Griffball didn't always exist, and look at it now. It's very popular. It's like a cult, like I said. So, again, they need to expand their horizons, and hopefully something like that is coming. The next, spawns need work. I really don't need to I really don't need to say anything more than that. Next, Bloom is in this game, and it does not belong in this game. And it's not exactly like Call of Duty Bloom. It's like Halo Reach Bloom, to where if you are firing your weapon way too fast, your reticle expands, and the bullets don't go in the center of the reticle when it expands that much. You kind of have to delay a little bit before you pull the trigger again in order for it to be as accurate as it needs to be, or as you want it to be, because it's basically random. Where bullets are going within the reticle, but they're random. They're not at dead center, which is something that favors noobs, and it doesn't belong in the game. You also want to know why? In competitive, back in Halo Reach when it was first introduced, guess what they did for competitive? They basically disabled Bloom. And in the Master Chief Collection, they reduced Bloom. It's still there, but they reduced it. It's like, don't try to find a middle ground. Just remove Bloom, because there's even casual players out there that are casual, but they're really good at firing their weapon really fast while staying on target, even though they're casual players or they may not be that good in terms of decision making. But if you think about it, it's a way of screwing with your bullets. And I don't think any player out there, whether you're a great player or not a good player, really enjoys getting their bullets messed with and their accuracy. Because if they're on target and if they're able to have the skill to spam their weapon really fast while remaining on target and tracking well, they should be rewarded by getting the kill, as opposed to something like Bloom. So Bloom does not belong in the game. There's no, the next one is there's no crossplay or an input filter for social, but there is for competitive. I mean, come on, dude. The next one, the launch site map needs to be taken out of 4v4. It's just way too big of a map, in my opinion. There are players that enjoy that, but we got big team battle, dude. We really don't need a map. It's not as big as a big team battle map, but it's still freaking huge. Make a 6v6 or an 8v8 playlist and it'll play well, but it's way too freaking slow, in my opinion. In terms of the game, there's only 10 maps in total between 4v4 and big team battle modes. That is a sin in of itself, especially with a 6-year development cycle. And next one, no new version of Midship. Seriously, Midship has been a staple in every single Halo, and there's no new version of Midship in this release. I'm pretty sure that in every single release of Halo, they've had a version of Midship, except for maybe one game. Maybe they didn't have it for Halo 4. I don't think they had it for Halo 4. But other than that, Midship has been in pretty much almost every Halo. You know, it needs to be in this game, especially since you're going back to the roots of what made Halo great in the first place. It just makes all the sense in the world. Moving on to the next one. The shields take way too long to recharge, man. Need I say more? Next. Onyx for ranked is way too easy to get. Right now I'm at Diamond 2. I haven't really played over the last couple days in terms of ranked. I also enjoy playing social because I also enjoy playing the sidekick, and I don't always feel like sweating all the time. Or sweating, let me rephrase that. Sweating as hard as I do in ranked. And of course, the next one on the list, there's an aim assist glitch to where randomly your aim assist basically does not exist mid-gunfight. That needs to be patched as soon as possible. That's like another really big sin out of everything here. And of course, the last thing, obviously, this is not really a sin, this is just a comment. The vast majority of all these problems can be fixed by December 8th by the time the game fully launches in terms of campaign, and this game is going to be taken out of beta state. So if they're going to take this out of beta state, there's no reason why they can't at least add in a Slayer dedicated playlist, add in a free-for-all, and then slowly but surely start adding in other things. Add a filter for the social playlist for the input in terms of crossplay and stuff like that. That is basically standard in this day and age. So the fact that it doesn't exist, even in beta form right now, quote-unquote beta form, is something that is a huge problem. And so yeah, that's all I had to say for this one, guys. Now, this was like within the first day or two of the game's release in terms of the gameplay. So as you can see, I'm still struggling with my aim, but as of right now, I've gotten quite better, and I've done a few different things with the settings that have helped. But overall, these are basically the sins of Halo Infinite, and hopefully they will get patched up rather sooner than later, because this game has a ton of potential. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.